This morning our interview is with Bill Jones, and Bill's been a photographer in Columbia City for many, many years, and he's going to tell us some of the history of his photography business. Plus, one of the things that we're really interested in is his history as a photographer for during the wars, of many different pictures he took, and talk about some of the places he's been and some of the pictures he's taken. So Bill, I'd like to turn this over to you and let you start out. And just first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of give us a little background before we get started the rest of the interview.
A little bit about myself?
Yes.
Well, I was born a long, long time ago, 1926, January of 26, so that makes me over 90 years old. And that's about it. There's not much else to say except that I was interested in airplanes. That's what I wanted to be, was a pilot, you know, all my life, and I worked at it. I never became a full-fledged pilot, although I flew the plane quite often. I was never checked out in it to get my pilot's license. I really didn't need it. All I wanted was the experience of flying, because that was the love of my life. Photography became the second love because I was given a camera when I was a young man, about 9 years old, and I went wild with it, and it was just so much fun that I became a photographer. It was unintentional. I went through tool and die school to become an engineer, and I didn't quite make the engineering degree because I didn't take the test. I had all my work done, but I never took the test to become a full-fledged engineer because I wasn't going to use it anymore, so I just dropped it. But the engineering courses that I had became pivotal in my life because I used that information all my life as a means of getting by. Engineering is a very important part of my life.
Well, tell us a little bit about your family.
My family?
Your wife and your children.
Well, I was going with a young lady while I was in grade school, and I went with her all through high school and married her. And then we had 4 children and quite a few grandchildren. So that's kind of my family life. What else did you say you wanted to know about?
Well, you told us about your children. Where did you go to school?
Where did I go to school? Well, okay, I was born in Whitley County, and lived in Whitley County most of my life. Even out in the country, when I lived in the country on the farms, I was still in Whitley County. And I went to school in Columbia City and Washington Township, both, but I came back to Columbia City for the last 2 years of high school to graduate. And so I graduated from that course. Then I joined I was with General Electric, and they suggested that I go through the machinist toolmaker course and become a tool and die maker. So I did. I went through the course and graduated from that course I think I was the first graduate of a new class in that year after the war. I was the first graduate after the war. So that's kind of in a nutshell what I did for my education. We had college engineering courses 6 hours a week, and then we had 6 hours of study. So I became proficient in engineering, and I enjoy engineering. I enjoy mathematics tremendously. I was a math major and represented Indiana in a math contest. Unfortunately, I met 2 girls from Ohio who were better than me by 2 points. They won the national right out from under. They took the national contest right out from under me. 2 girls, so I was so embarrassed that 2 girls embarrassed me, you know, by winning a math contest.
So you grew up on a farm out in Washington Township?
Well, no, I grew up on a farm in Columbia Township, right outside the town, but in my adult life, I did live on a farm for a while in Washington Township, so I had quite a few experiences there too, but I can't remember any of them.
Well, do you remember? Do you remember when you got electricity?
When I got electricity? Oh yes, we had a Delco plant in Whitley County. They installed what they called a Delco plant, and there were several shelves lined with batteries, just a whole bunch of batteries there that brought it up to 110 volts. And so we had electricity on the farm with that Delco system that would run and recharge the batteries. The batteries, I remember how they would go dim, you know. Your lights would start going dim, and you'd think things were going to go out, and all of a sudden the plant would kick on automatically, the Delco plant, to recharge the batteries, and the lights would come bright right immediately. So that was quite an experience.
REMC, did REMC install your first electric lines when you had electric?
No, we had our own personal lines with our Delco plant.
Yeah, but did...
When we got electricity, I think REMC
did that.
I think REMC took over, yeah.
Yeah. So how did electricity change your life on the farm?
Oh, tremendously, because before, you know, we milked with lanterns, and we did everything with little kerosene lanterns that we carried around. I remember that tremendously. We even lived in the house with kerosene lanterns, you know. And then we got the Delco plant, and we moved to a place that had the Delco plant. And that was wonderful because they were electric lights, but the Delco plant would charge the batteries, but the lights would continue to go dimmer, and all of a sudden, bang, and they'd come on when the Delco plant came on, and then it was bright again, and you could read.
Do you remember when you got your first indoor bathroom?
Indoor bathroom?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember it was wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't remember what year it was, but in those days everybody had outdoor toilets. When they were just outside the town, you know, you'd have an outdoor toilet. So, and I remember in the winter how cold that was.
So you remember your first automobile?
Yeah, we had a little old coupe with a rumble seat, and I remember riding in the rumble seat. That's where us kids rode.
Oh my, yeah. Your personal automobile. Your first automobile.
My first automobile
Yeah.
was a 1936 Plymouth. I was married in 1944 or 47, and I bought that car just before I got married. So that I could go out to see my girlfriend who lived out in the country. And I would drive in the country in my 1937.
Yeah.
No, it was a 30. It was a 36. That was a 36. Then I had a 1947 later.
Yeah. You remember how much that first automobile cost you? What the price you paid for it?
I remember it was very cheap, but I can't remember exactly. It seemed to me like it was $50 or something like that.
Well, that's pretty reasonable. Now, tell a little bit about your photography business. I know you took pictures there. I know you took our wedding pictures there. And,
oh, yes.
And tell us a little bit about your business there and how it got started and all the different things you did in your business there.
Well, I was drafted into the Army Air Corps, and they sent me through photography school, and I discovered a new love, photography, and I decided while I was in the service that I would do photography, although I was heading to be a tool and die maker and had already started the course. So when I returned to the course, I did finish the course as a tool and die maker, graduated as a tool and die maker, but I was doing photography on the side to support my living, and I decided shortly after I finished all my schooling and everything, I decided that I would go into photography full time, which I did. I made a successful life in photography. I became the president of the Professional Photographers of Indiana, and served that term out, and then served on the board for many years as an advisor. So photography is deep in my life. Photography is a wonderful occupation, very interesting. So I enjoyed every bit of it.
Tell us a little bit about your role in World War II when you took pictures when you took a picture of when the atomic bomb went off. Were you close enough to take that picture? Or what was your official role as photographer?
Okay, I did not see the bomb go off.
Okay.
The bomb was already dropped, and they sent me over the target to take the low altitude atomic bomb damage photographs. I was amazed at what I saw because I had been taking photographs of other bombed out cities, but they were just small places where it looked like an explosion and things scattered all over a little place. And in contrast, the atomic bomb city was amazing because the entire city was blown away. It was something that you'd had never seen before, except when it had been bombed by many bombs to blow the city away. It looked just like the ones that had been done with many bombs. One bomb exploded 800 feet over the city, and the the resulting blast spread out over the area, the central part of the city, and completely obliterated it. You never saw anything like it. One bomb, and it was amazing.
So did you? What were some other pictures you took during the war? What was your official title during the war?
I was just a photographer gunner. I was an aerial photographer gunner, and but as I entered the war ended. I never got a shot at the enemy, which I was thankful for later. To think that I'd never killed anybody during the war. I don't know how people feel that we're in the heat of the war, but it was necessary because it was a war. We were at war, and that's what we had to do, is fight the enemy. And the enemy was a bunch of guys from another country that were just like us. They were just boys, 18, 19-year-old boys, 20-year-olds. And we were just a bunch of boys fighting the war. And I was glad that I never fired a shot at the enemy. The war ended in time that I never had to fire a shot. So I was thankful that I never killed anybody.
Yeah, the only shot you had to fire was a camera, wasn't it?
I started shooting people with the camera,
Yeah.
and to me that was a wonderful occupation, because to photograph different people and their expressions on their faces and things like that, and photograph places that were very important in the war, like the Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the atomic bomb damage. I flew over right after I got in, right after the war ended. They took me up in a small airplane, and I photographed the bomb damage from two different planes. One was a rather large single-engine airplane. The other one was a small plane, an Aeronca, a J4. But anyway, I was just pleased to become a part of that, that I was able to photograph the damage, and that's what you see in the history books now, are pictures that I took of the bomb damage. Yeah.
So how many years were you in the service? How many years did you serve?
26 and a half months.
Well, okay. And so did you, after you took the picture, you said you just started there when you took the pictures of the atomic bomb. What other pictures did you take of the war? What other places you went?
What other pictures did I take?
Yeah,
anything
places.
that was happening. Ward presentations, general come and would come and present awards to different people. That's some of the stuff that they took pictures of me doing, was interviews with the press, and that's all that happened. It was just small stuff, small news, not really big news.
So your pictures are in some of the history books now, is that?
Oh yes.
Can you tell some of those books so we could, if we wanted to look for them,
Pardon?
Whereabouts will we find some of your pictures?
Well, history books is, I guess, the main thing, but they are in museums. They're in the museum up at Auburn, the Air Museum there at the airport in Auburn, the Hoosier Air Museum. I have a set of pictures there. I'm not sure I can think of anything of importance right now. I had a very good life because photography was so interesting that I was always involved with something important, and as the person that was recording it for history. So that was a great part of my life, that a good bit of history was recorded by me, and I'm proud of the fact that I was there to do it, and I enjoyed doing the job. So.
Very good. Well, thank you, Bill. We appreciate you taking the time today to tell us some of the history and some of the things that you've done in your life. We appreciate what you have done. You know, some of those pictures you've taken were amazing, you know, of the war and the aftermath of some of the atomic bomb explosion and so forth. So those pictures will be here forever, and kids will be able to see that and understand a little more about what happened because of what you've done. So thank you very much. We appreciate you taking the time with us today.
Well, I feel lucky that I was the guy that did the stuff, and lucked out that I recorded it for history. So I just feel very proud of the fact that I was a part of history in recording it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.